Good evening. Here in Las Vegas, the tournament action shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, the opposite is true as tournaments are starting on a daily basis.
The first tournament series we're going to discuss today is the Bellagio Cup 3. Each day a new event begins, each day a new event ends, and each day our Christy Arnett is on the floor to give you what you need to know about the Bellagio Cup series.
We're back for your daily Bellagio Cup 3 tournament update. Right now, the final table of a $2,500 no limit hold'em tournament is playing just behind me. A couple players at that final table are no strangers to playing each other. Anna Robleski and Andrew Taylor are both sitting right next to each other. They both finished second and third respectively to Erica Schoenberg in a Mandalay Bay event just a few weeks ago. Today was the beginning of another $5,000 no limit hold'em event. A total of 54 players generated a prize pool of $200,000. There are currently about 44 players left, but still competing are players like Nick Schulman and TJ Cloutier. Don't forget to check out Card Player TV for more Bellagio Cup 3 tournament updates.
Thank you for that excellent reporting, Christy.
Now, two tournaments began today at the Rio, and one of them was event number 34, a $3,000 limit hold'em event that began today at 5 o'clock. Now, at noon today, a $1,500 pot limit Omaha tournament with rebuys was played. The current chip leader in that tournament is John Jawanda, and the top 10 in that tournament reads like a who's who of poker. Second in chips is Johnny Chan, third is Joe Hashem, fourth is Humberto Brenes, fifth is Andy Block, sixth is Robert Williamson III, and in seventh place in the pot limit Omaha with rebuys tournament is Phil Ivey.
Is he ever not in the top 10?
I don't think so. I think it's a requirement of all World Series poker tournaments.
That's fine with me. So two tournaments at the Rio are playing their day two. The $5,000 buy-in heads-up event, which is the first World Series has ever held, plays down to the final 16 today. Some day two matches include Vanessa Selt, beat Lane Flack, and Scotty Wynn beat Patrick Antonius. The players remaining include Phil Gordon and ABC heads-up champion Paul Wasika. Those who lost their first match today, like Jennifer Tilley and Eric Lynch, made just over $9,000 for their efforts.
Before day two of the Heads Up tournament began, Sean McCabe came by our studio to talk about how he's done in the tournament so far.
Sean, congratulations on making it as far as you have in the Heads Up tournament. You're playing again today at 2 o'clock. It's your fourth match, correct? Well, the fourth round.
Technically, my third match, but because I got a bye in the first round.
So what was going on yesterday? What made everything so weird at the Rio?
I don't think anyone knows. The structure had been set up for 256 players, allowing up to 512, that they would add an extra round. And everyone knew that it was going to go over 256, but wasn't going to go over 512. And I think we ended up at 396 or 400 or something like that.
And so they decided to proceed with all the players?
Well, I don't know what they decided. It took about an hour and a half. We were all standing around. And they said, we're redrawing everything. Come back at 1. So we come back at 1. They're still not doing anything. And they're pulling names out of one of those little lotto things. And if your name was called after, my confusion is because it was really that confusing. And I'm trying to figure it out as I'm going along here. After number 256, then you were a bye.
So that means you didn't have to play the first round, you automatically advanced?
Right.
Okay.
Which was the first lucky break I've had through the whole series,
so by the way. So you got to skip the first round.
And I walked back down to the tournament room, sunglasses on, my hat down like this, because I didn't want to hear bad beat stories or talk to anybody. My eyes on the floor and just trying to keep myself centered.
This is at 6 o'clock, going to play your first match, which is the second round.
Right.
Okay.
And I drew Steve Zolotow. And Zolotow hasn't shown up.
So you're just sitting down there?
Well, and I asked the dealer to hold the deal. Because
they started
heads up, the deal's done very quickly. It wouldn't take long for him to get damaged.
You wanted to play some poker. You didn't get to play the first
round. I don't want to
round.
win that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to win, but not like that.
Yeah. So what happened? Did Steve show up?
He did show up. Apparently, he was playing a satellite.
And then you won that match?
I did. Steve, I know, is fairly conservative, fairly tight. We start with 100 times big blind, roughly. A little bit more, I think, in that round. And I wanted to feel him out, see how he was playing. He was playing fairly passively, so I pretty much just let it come to me. And saw a lot of flops and waited until I had him trapped, and then just slowly chopped away at him until I got him to to move in on me, and I looked down, all I saw was the ace of spades. He had 3,800, including his small blind at 612. And I called without seeing the kicker, turned it over, and it came. He said, "Well, you're ahead now," and it came king blank blank ace 10, and pulled the card to the side, and I had ace king actually, and that was it.
So how many players are left going into today of the heads-up tournament?
60-ish, something like that. I think we have to win.
I think it might be 64.
If we're at 64 players, then I'd imagine that we'll probably play down to 16, so 2 points.
Bryan Devonshire chose to abstain from the heads-up tournament at the Rio, but he did stop by to talk to us about his opinions on that tournament.
Bryan, let's start off with your finish in event number 9. Tell us about how you did in that tournament.
Well, I played pretty much the worst tournament poker of my life and somehow came in second place, which is one of the fun things about limit hold'em events or limit anything events. This one was an Omaha 8 or better event. Played really bad on day 2, but...
How did you play really bad? Like, give us an example.
I folded a hand for 1 bet to Jordan Morgan. The final board read ace, queen, deuce, ace, tray. Mm-hmm. And I had queen, queen, XX, so I made queens full on the turn. We went, a bunch of bets on the flop and the turn. And on the river, I was like, oh no, he's got ace tray, and I check folded.
You would have had it?
Just retarded. No, we would have chopped it. He had 4 or 5 for the low end of the pot, but it's like, why did I just outsmarted myself and outplayed myself, and generally played really bad. And I did a couple mistakes like that, chase spots where I shouldn't have, and ended up
everything worked out for you, so you can't complain.
But I mean, even if I did play good in day 2, there still wasn't another thing I could have done to win the thing. So
yeah, what happened? What was that last hand?
The last hand didn't really matter.
Okay.
And again,
what was the impact hand?
The impact hand, I was really annoyed just because when we got heads up, there's only 24 big bets in play, and within 10 minutes there was only 16 big bets in play, which basically means
wasn't great.
No, not at all. Which basically means whoever gets the first big hand is going to end up winning the tournament. So we played a pot where I had the ace, ace, queen, 9 with the queen, 9 of spades. Mm-hmm. I raised from the button. We saw the flop heads up of king, 10, 5, 2 spades, and he check raised me. Oh no, he bet into me, and I raised him, and he called. Mm-hmm. Turned an ace, so giving me top set, and the Broadway draw, and the flush draw, and the this draw, and then that draw. And he check raised me, and I really didn't. I put in another bet, in case if I didn't have the best hand, I still had 22 outs.
Yeah, a lot of draws.
He made it 4 bets, and I, at that point, I was pair the board one time, call, missed on the river, and had to pay off the bet because I suck at poker, and it was a 1,000,000-chip pot, and there's only 2 million chips in play, so
you had to make
pretty much game over from there.
So you said you like playing limit a lot. Tonight you're going into another limit tournament. Are you feeling good about that?
Yes, limit hold'em. Love playing limit hold'em. It's very, very much my best game.
Why would you say that?
It's what I've been raised on. I mean, I've been playing it since I was 13 years old, and been playing it professionally or semi-professionally since 1999. And
wow.
I mean, it's just I'm one of those kids that was around before the whole internet thing, before the whole no limit thing.
What got you into poker?
My dad ran an underground game, and he ran a home game, and so.
Where are you from?
San Dimas, California.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you were schooled on poker.
Yeah.
The other less talked about event playing day 2 at the Rio right now is the $2,000 buy-in stud tournament. Now, Gary Prager went into today as the chip leader, but Daniel Negreanu is close on his heels in second chip position.
The only final table going on down at the Rio today is the 6-handed event. They started today with 6 players, and they are now down to 4. The chip leader going into the event was Hoyt Corkins, and with 4 players remaining, he is still a massive chip leader. Second in chips is William Lynn. First place prize in this event is over $500,000, created by a player pool of over 850 participants.
Now that covers everything going on at the Rio today. We'll have all of the results from today's tournaments on tomorrow's Poker Tonight.
Before we sign off for the evening, we have one more segment to offer you, the always beloved Moment with Mike. And now, here is your Moment with Mike.
And now, a Moment with Mike.
So we're on the road at the Bellagio. What's up? Are you here? Are you there? Where are you? What's going on, man? Why is everybody hanging up on me?
This moment was brought to you by Mike the Mouth Matisow.
Mike, thank you for your contribution to the show. It's always appreciated.
And that's our show for tonight. Lizzie and I will be back with a brand new episode tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Good night.